Yo, what's going on guys? BennyBricks here and welcome back for another video. Now today, we are going to be taking a look at my custom CMF draft for the world of Pokemon. All of these minifigs are hand-drawn by myself, so if you go on to enjoy today's video, please leave a like and also subscribe. Last thing, if you guys want to see a part 2 to this video, make sure to comment down below. Also, if you guys have any other ideas for another CMF draft for me to do, then I would love to hear about it, so tell me in the comments. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into it. The first minifigure that we're going to be taking a look at is actually Ash Ketchum. Now, I know he's not a Pokemon, but he does come with Caterpie, which is a Pokemon. I wanted to include like an actual minifigure like Ash because, well, he's in the anime and he's kind of like the main character. He comes with dual molded legs, which that has new printing on it, and the hat piece is actually not new. It comes in the Hidden Side sets, coming on Jack, who is the main character of that series. But it's actually a new piece, which I think it works out perfectly for Ash, and that's pretty much it for this minifigure. The next minifigure is actually Pikachu. Now, he's kind of the icon of the series, and he was really hard to make. I didn't really know how to translate because his body type's a little different from the regular minifigure type, but I just decided to wing it and go for it. He comes with 2 new pieces, which is a hat piece, and it's pretty much like a bald hat piece with 2 new ear parts coming out of it, and also a new tail piece, which basically goes in between the minifigure legs and the minifigure body. And that's pretty much it for this minifigure. Up next, we actually have Squirtle. Now, he comes with 3 new pieces. 1 is his tail piece, 2 is his new head mold, and 3 is like a backpack piece for his shell. Now, the shell is just made up of just a mold that looks kind of similar to the Skydiver's backpack in a minifigure series before. And the head mold just looks exactly like his head. There's not a lot of pieces that really translate from the actual Lego barrage of like actual pieces that translate well into Squirtle's head, so I had to improvise and just make new pieces. There's a lot of new pieces in this series, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this minifigure. Next up, we have Charmander. Now, he comes with 2 new pieces for his tail and his head. The color scheme is fine on this. It just revolves around the fire type theme. And the tail comes with a new candle piece, which it's like a candlestick tail with like the 1 stud hole on the top. But the actual fire piece comes in different Harry Potter sets, which I think that's a great usage of that piece. And the head mold is just like the other head molds. There's not a lot of variety there. You can't really use actual minifigure head for this because just the molding on the actual Charmander it's a lot different from an actual minifigure. Up next, we have Bulbasaur. Now, for his bulb, it is pretty much just a minifigure head inside of the pumpkin piece, which we got in the Scooby-Doo sets a while back in like 2016 or 2015, I don't really remember. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this minifigure, other than him having a molded body, and that also is molded on his head, so the head and the body are the same piece. And other than that, that's pretty much it for this minifigure. Now we have Nurse Joy, and I wanted to include somewhat of a civilian in the Pokemon world into this, and I chose Nurse Joy because it's really easy to make her with existing pieces. The only new mold here is for her hair/hat combo, which is just her hair pretty much, and the Pokeball, which is the accessory, just is one of those orb pieces that we've gotten before but printed as a Pokeball. And other than that, that's pretty much it for this minifigure, other than new printing. Now we have Execute. Now, this minifigure, we actually have gotten Lego egg pieces before, but I just thought that minifigure heads kind of worked a little better for just like placement and all around. I don't know. I tried minifigure heads and I tried eggs, and I just think the heads look a little better, but each head is printed differently to match the heads on the actual Execute, which I think that actually the printing on this, I think that is phenomenal. And I just really like how funny this Pokemon is and how weird it is and quirky, but I just think it all around is kind of a cool. And now we have Geodude. Now this just uses the new Minions arm pieces with the Technic pins in the middle. I think that those actually work really well with this minifigure. This minifigure actually comes with 1 new mold, which is the center head piece, and that just has two Technic little placement spots on the sides of him for his arms to go. This minifigure is pretty simple, but it's really hard to make Pokemon into minifigures because Pokemon come in all different shapes and sizes, and not a lot of them, or not a lot of Lego pieces really translate that. So they would have to take some sacrifices and make some new pieces if they were going to do a minifigure series. But I think that this minifigure works. Next up we have Poliwhirl. Now this one also uses the new Technic pieces, but also the boxing gloves instead of the actual hand molds, which I think that that works pretty well. The new piece in this one is the body piece, which is basically the body and the legs. I had to take a pretty big sacrifice there and just go for the whole body mold. I think that that actually looks pretty nice, and all around, I think it just works a little better than having it be like minifigure legs, you know? Next up, we actually have Abra. Now, I really like the detailing on this minifigure, even though there's not a lot, but I like the yellow and the kind of light brown. I think that that really like translate well. And I like using the short, like the mid legs. I think that that's cool on this minifigure, especially so it can sit down. There's a new tail piece on this minifigure, and there's also a new head mold, which I made. That would just go into the regular minifig head piece, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this minifigure. And now we actually have Hitmonchan, and I was actually really debating on this minifigure because I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it as like a skirt piece. As you can see, it kind of looks like on the Pokemon that he's wearing a skirt, but then I just decided to make it like a print on the actual minifigure. And overall, I think that this minifigure looks pretty well. It has a new mold for the head, and other than that, it just uses those boxing gloves again, but they're colored in the like light pink or light red kind of color, which I really like that. I think that that works pretty nicely, and that's pretty much it for this minifigure as well. For this minifigure, I pretty much just made it so it's a full yellow body, and the new mold for this minifigure is actually the head and the little neck warmer, I guess you would say. The fur around his neck is also molded with the head. The little string is actually what the Lego like fishing rods are used from. There's actual string that comes with that. I think that they would just cut off a little piece of string with that and just put like one stud at the bottom. I think that that works pretty nicely for this minifigure, honestly, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this minifigure. Pretty simple. The new mold for this minifigure is actually just the Marowak's little skull headgear piece, which I really like that. This is Marowak, by the way, and his accessory is actually his bone that he holds to whack stuff with. He uses the mid legs that are new, coming out in the Harry Potter sets, and yeah, they're just printed with his little toes at the bottom, and that's pretty much it for this minifigure. Okay, so this minifigure was actually very hard to design, and it wasn't really a minifigure, it's kind of just like a ball. This is Voltorb, the Pokemon, and basically what I had to do for this minifigure is just make a whole new piece. He would be filled with little tiny one-stud little fire pieces as like a figurative way of showing him being exploding. He does open up, as you can see, the little stud pieces just around the rim of like the I guess you could say it's like the equator of Voltorb. I don't know, this minifigure was like really hard to design, but I just made two new pieces for him for a top and a bottom, and he's just filled with studs, so that's Voltorb. Overall, this minifigure was definitely the hardest to design. This is Machamp. Now, I really wanted to add like a bigger minifigure, so I kind of just went off of the Nexo Knight's Axel piece, and I basically redesigned that. That's basically the new piece for this, and it comes with a new head mold that's attached to it, also having a little two spots out of the back of the minifigure to have two more arms sticking out, which the arms, all four of the arms in this set are actually the ones that come in like the Sandy minifigure from the new Monkey Kid sets, or like the old Ogre minifigures in the Castle sets. I think that those arms work fine, and otherwise he just uses the minifigure legs and a minifigure body for his little belt, and that's pretty much it for this minifigure. The last minifigure we actually have is Mewtwo. Now, Mewtwo uses two new pieces, which is basically his head piece, which has like a little noodle tube thing sticking out of the back of his head, and also a tail piece which connects just like Pikachu's. And yeah, this this minifigure is pretty standard. I wanted to include a legendary Pokemon as well in this, so here you go. Here's Mewtwo. And other than that, I mean, this minifigure is pretty standard, going along the theme with all the others with new molds, but also sticking with the LEGO theme. And that's pretty much it for this minifigure. For the bag for the whole series, I just made it so it's basically, it's just like all the other minifigure bags with little question mark doodles, and there's just a closer look with all the minifigures in front, and the Pokemon logo and the LEGO logo as well. If you guys are wondering why I'm not posting as many reviews anymore, it's actually because my school requested all of their film stuff back, and that's how I do higher quality of videos. So they took my camera and tripod away because it's the end of the school year. But I will be doing more of these drawing videos because I think that not to toot my own horn, but I can actually see me doing this for a while. So I'm going to be doing this for the time being. So comment down below what series you guys want me to do next, because this is honestly really fun. And I just love doing this so much. And with that all said, see you guys later. Bye.